Hey friends, welcome back to the Life of a Makeup Artist podcast. Today's episode is the Content Creator Roundtable. So we actually have been doing this since 2019. I did a makeup artist roundtable. We did another episode and I was just like, you know what? I feel like we need to do a content creator roundtable. But this one is a special one because I have two creators with actually full-time careers, okay? Alyssa's like, yes, honey, that's what I do.
Yeah, 401k locked down.
You know, and I love and respect both of them, but we're going to be peeling back the layers of what it's like to really be a content creator behind the scenes. But before we get into all of that, how are you? How are you, Alyssa?
I'm good. I'm good. You know, it's been a lot going on, but we're making it work. We're making it work.
We're making it work. We'll get into that. How are you, Karol? How's life?
Life is nice, peaceful,
Love that.
stable, homey, family.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. And the energy, I can feel it off of you.
It's giving
calm.
mother, right?
It's giving
Ooh.
calm.
You know what? In a couple years, I'll be there.
I like that.
Yeah.
I love that for you. Okay, so I would love for you both to introduce yourselves. Alyssa, if you want to go first.
Sure. Hi, my name is Alyssa. I am a content creator, but I also have a full-time job. I work at Google in advertising. And so, yeah, it's a little bit about me.
Did you go to Ad Week?
I did not go to Ad Week.
I went for the first time.
How was it?
How was
It was
it?
cute. I just went for one day because I had to work. But it was interesting. It's
Okay.
like, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's for more senior level people, but
Right.
I want to get there one day because
Yeah.
I've only been working in this industry for like 7 or 8 years.
Right.
I got to get there
Damn.
sometime.
You could just tell them, hello, I need a ticket.
Period.
That's it. Yeah, my friend got me in. So,
Ooh.
Period.
how are you, Karol? Tell us about you.
My name is Karol. I am New York City-based professional makeup artist and content creator. My pronouns are they, them. I love beauty and all the things that come with being a human being.
I love that. Okay, so how we break up these episodes is actually by topic. So we're gonna get into your innermost thoughts first. I'm just gonna dive right into it.
Okay.
I don't wait, and I don't backstory. We're just gonna get right into it, okay?
Let's do it.
So-
She island girl.
So Karol, I want to go back a bit, just a little bit. Karol, you're a pro makeup artist. Alyssa, you work in advertising.
Mhm.
How did you first get into content creation? Like, what was that moment that it clicked? Because a lot of people have full times and they feel like they can't really be a creator because they have full times.
Mhm.
But like, what was that moment that it clicked for you?
Want me to go
Yeah.
first? Okay. The moment that it clicked for me, so I actually started content creating on my personal Instagram account.
Mhm.
I had really bad acne. I had been going to a dermatologist since I was a little girl because I have something called tinea versicolor, which is just candida overgrowth on the skin. And so I had been seeing dermatologists forever. But the thing was that I wasn't really learning about the ingredients. You're just kind of like, okay, this is the script that you take, and
Mhm.
that's kind of it.
Mhm.
And so I wanted to learn for myself how to heal my own skin. And
Mhm.
so I was just testing products out
Mhm.
on like my stories pretty
Right.
much for the most part. And then people were like, you need to start an account. You need to start an account. And so that's kind of how content creation happened for me. I started on my personal,
Mhm.
transferred over.
I feel like we
something
met
else.
when you had your personal account.
Really?
Because we met in like 2019.
We definitely did.
It was definitely before COVID. And I remember you were just like a skincare makeup
Yes,
lover. And I
yes,
remember I
yes.
followed your personal. And then I was like, finally, this bitch is on the content. And then you started giving us perfume and bags.
Period.
And now I'm like low key, a little perfume girly.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
that came a little bit later, but yes, yeah, you're right though.
Yes, but it
did-
really
right.
like
I
the
started there.
beginnings
Yes.
were like you taking your love
Mhm.
for this and then just like listening to people.
Yes.
I love
It really be
that.
the village around you that like can see something that you can't really see in yourself sometimes.
Yeah,
Facts.
well, I'm here for the reunion as well.
Yeah.
Look, what about you, Karol? I mean, naturally you're, doing makeup, but most of the time we're behind the scenes.
Yes.
When did that click happen for you?
I think for me, makeup artistry and content has always been hand in hand. It's never been one or the other. It's always
Mm.
been both at the same time. When I think about like when I started creating content, it was honestly like on Facebook with a digital camera.
Mm.
For before anyone hope to gain an audience, I was like, my audience is my friends and my family who see my makeup when I go to high school, who see my makeup when I'm in college, who
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I want to show y'all what I'm doing on a Saturday. I want to show y'all what I'm doing, on summer break. So I would like do a look and then go off with the digital camera and then create a little pick monkey collage. And then I would
Pick
feed the
monkey.
girls on Facebook.
Right.
And by the girls, I mean like the cafeteria ladies,
Right.
the people from the principal's office.
Right.
So like it was something that I was doing before I even knew,
Mhm.
nobody had even thought about the word influencer. It was just like, it was mostly people on YouTube. I'm talking like 2009, 2010. Like we're talking about the impetus of makeup tutorials. Like Michelle Phan, it's my
Mhm.
Ray Ray, like
That was my
OG,
favorite
The
OG,
tutorial.
OGs,
OG,
yeah.
OG.
Petrolude, honey.
Girl, Petrolude, all of those,
Wow.
Dulce Candy 87, so many. So I was just like a makeup lover doing as much as I could with the little product I had. And I just started posting on Facebook for my friends and family. And then little by little, Facebook kind of became for the older people. And then I was like, okay, Instagram is lit. So I was there putting a little Valencia filter on everything. And I was also doing YouTube because I always loved like long form content. I'm a very long form type of person. And then I would say like content creation actually started for me on Snapchat when I was in college. I would do a Snapchat makeup tutorial every day before going to class. I would always end up over talking, missing either like my first period or whatever I had to do. But that's when I started really developing my relationship with an audience and developing an audience.
Right. I love that. So I'm curious, what inspires you guys to create? Like, does trending topics dictate what you post? Like, are you a cherry cola girly or?
For me, I would say about 25% of it is trending topics or seeing what my other fellow creators are putting out as well. I'm inspired by the people I follow, very much so. But I would say the other 75% of it is curiosity. I
Right.
like trying new
Mm.
things. I like seeing if things actually work
Right.
and providing those like real reviews.
Mhm.
So I think the curiosity is what really drives me
Right.
in my content.
Your lashes look really good.
Yeah, I was just gonna I was just a damn girl. That curl is giving whiz.
I can't
But the base
I
isn't
can't
bulgy.
with y'all. I
It's giving like, yeah. I said, you better keep talking. Wow.
even-
No,
what
it's
did you
giving
say?
3D mink, bitch. Yes.
Can you repeat that? 'Cause I
Yes.
didn't-
Yes.
Thanks, guys.
Obsessed.
I didn't hear one thing you said, but it's being
That's a
recorded.
fresh
so thank
set,
goodness.
too.
That's so funny.
Yes.
I love that. Okay, well, what about you, Carol? Like, obviously, very makeup driven.
Mhm.
There's always some new
Girl.
annoying thing sometimes. It's not always. It's like fun, but it's just like, okay, do I have blueberry milk nails? Am I
Girl,
strawberry? Am I cola? Am I
Child.
pumpkin?
You know,
Am I
Brownie
steak
lip.
and egg? Steak and I don't know,
Not
a Philly
steak and
Steak and cheese, girl. Chopped cheese makeup. Bacon and cheese
Y'all
makeup.
are
Arizona makeup. I
wild.
can't anymore. Oh, girl, I can't. Okay. I just gotta say, as a 27-year-old, I feel like I'm an elder at this point. When it comes to content creation,
Elder.
yes, because I feel like when it comes to content creation, there has been such a shift from younger people
True.
looking up to professionals in their fields, people that know what they're talking about. I'm thinking about like me as a makeup lover at like 12, 13, 14.
Mm.
It wasn't, it's almost like you creating your own content was almost like a level that you had achieved, and it was almost like a privilege that was bestowed upon you, where you're like,
Mhm.
okay, what am I gonna add to the stratosphere of media online? And now I feel like it is completely turned around, and there's so much of a focus on like these really young
Yes.
Gen Z girlies, which I love that they're having a moment, and I'm loving that Gen Z is
Mhm.
growing up with like so many more things normalized than what our generation
Right.
had. Like the
Mhm.
girlies are having mustaches, the girlies are having unibrows
Yes.
and
Yes.
armpit hair, and all this stuff is cool now, and I'm like loving that so much. But there also is that missing gap of the internet being a place where you could go to creators and get credible
Mhm.
tips.
Right.
And now, as a creator myself, my focus and my inspiration is like, okay, also as a professional makeup artist, that is like 80% of the job is when you're not on set. It's
Right.
prepping your kit, it's cleaning your stuff, it's
Right.
organizing your makeup, it's depotting stuff, it's pressing things. And so like between that and me like having a partner, having two dogs, living a really healthy, stable home life that I have busted my ass for, like content creation doesn't have the same slice of pie in my life as it did before. And so now it's
Yes.
really something that I am taking very intentionally. It used to be something that I used to go to when, as like a means of like distraction. I grew up in a really abusive, toxic household, and I was perpetually online, like so many people, because it was my only escape from, regular life. And so
Mm-hmm.
now that I've worked so hard and created this beautiful, like IRL life for myself,
Right.
I'm finding it harder and harder to live in my phone and
Mm,
harder to create content at such a high capacity in a
yes.
landscape where the most viral shit is the shit that you're like,
What is this?
what is this? The
Mm-hmm.
people like you as a professional are giving tips, and then in the comments they're like, but what does this person think? And this person is like a 15-year-old who has never put a brush to anybody's face.
Right.
And so things are a little skewed, but I am committed to staying the person I am, who is very realistic, who's very education driven, very tip driven, very like not gonna sell you a fantasy. Um, and just kind of like focusing on that, although it is hard to not. I always feel guilty for not being that girly that's just like 6 videos a day, up on this trend,
Right.
up on caramel latte and
That's
pink
hard.
drink makeup and da 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 da. I'm like, girl, half the time I'm on set with
Mm-hmm.
dirty clothing and makeup smudge on my hands, and when I get home, I want to be with my partner and go to sleep.
Right.
Right.
So it's been hard, but it's a good balance that I feel like I need to continue and to be committed to in order to have longevity in this.
Yeah. But I do love that you have clarity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's taken a while. And also like when you come from poverty and then you're making money, type of money that none of your, family has ever seen before in content, it puts this greater pressure on you to exist in a certain way that, might make you, make your chances greater to have more partnerships, to have,
Right.
you want your career to succeed, but then when you see how so many successful people are 100% of their lives are on TikTok, it's like
Mm-hmm.
it's hard to kind of mix both, where I'm like, how do I keep my boundaries but
Mm-hmm.
also continue here? So it's something that I've been navigating and really just like thinking on and working on with my therapist, and I think I'm finding a good middle ground now.
I love that for you.
Thank you.
So I feel like we are always being fed information on how to work with brands and how to get paid and how to
Mhm.
and what do you
They
you
said
know,
3 things you need to know before trying to work with your dream brand.
yeah, like what do you guys think are some things that brands could do to be better partners to creators?
I think just being a partner, right?
Mm,
I think sometimes when they come to the table or they come in your email, your
mhm.
DM, however they decide to reach out, sometimes it does feel very one-sided in that. And of course, they want something from you. They reached out to you because they like your content or
Right.
whatever. But nowadays, especially, it's getting a little crazy. It's getting a little
Girl.
cocoa for cocoa
The
puffs. Like
requests.
the requests are getting out of hand. Like they want the whole barn. They want reset here. They want all this content and then they want all these usage rights too.
Mm-hmm.
The usage I've
It's the
never
perpetuity for
seen
me.
this.
I said,
I've never seen
what?
this
It's not the P
before.
word for me.
It's the P word for
They
me.
want to be able to use your content everywhere on the internet, Google search, on a billboard, this, that, and the third for literally nothing for a product that might cost $40
And
or a few products that might cost less than $100. And it's like, you can't pay your bills with
With
a
the net
hundred,
aspect.
with
it's more
100 with
predatory
that.
now than ever, I feel. And you have these like young creators that are going viral for just being like, quirky and authentic, and they have millions of followers and they don't know that
Yes.
this is a business. It's almost
Yes.
like music business where these
Correct.
young musicians
Correct.
get trapped into these contracts where they are selling their image, their likeness, their voice, their everything for pennies.
Right.
Right.
And when you're that young, you don't know. You
Oh,
just
you're like,
don't know.
money? Yeah.
Unless you've been working for a certain amount of time, which usually when you're like in your early 20s, you don't have that much work experience, let alone in the corporate space. You don't know what to look out for.
Right.
You don't know what's predatory in these contracts and what have you. And so to answer your question, Jaleesa, I think just coming to the table wanting to be a partner, wanting to have a mutual exchange,
Mhm.
and not just looking at a creator as a commodity, if
Right.
that makes sense.
Mm.
That's what I would like to see more of. I would also like to see more transparency
Mhm.
as well. If you've come to me and you know you have a really tight budget, say that up front. We don't have to play these chasing
What's your
games.
rate? What's the budget?
Right,
What's your
right.
rate? What's
Yeah.
the
We don't have
budget?
to, and we
It's
don't
like, you go
have to
first,
play
no, you go
those
first, no, you go
games.
first. They said nose goes.
Right, right. We
Girl.
don't-
That
let's-
meme with the Spider-Man, everybody just pointing at each other.
Exactly.
it's like
Legit.
let's not
Legit.
waste each other's
Legit.
time and,
Right.
and let's just be partners. That's what I just really seek from brands.
Right. What about you, Karol?
I think something I think that brands can do better is establish like long game relationships with
Mhm.
creators.
Mhm.
I think brands often overlook creators that are loyal to their brands,
Mhm.
and they
Mm-hmm.
go for the next best thing, the
Mhm.
hottest it girl,
Child.
and they put all their coin into these few macros
Mhm.
that are getting a different bag every week.
Right.
And yes, their video is going to go viral. Yes, there's going to be tens of thousands of comments. But you are one in the many of that week.
Mm-hmm.
So I think something that brands could benefit from is having these longer form connections with creators that are genuinely
Yes.
interested in the brand. It makes more sense when it comes to audience. It makes more
Mhm.
sense when it comes to brand recognition with
More
that
organic.
audience. It's so much more authentic. People trust what you say. And like, if you have a creator that you like as a brand that really fucks with you, your product, your
Mhm.
fragrance, your bags, your ethics, your any of those things, that is somebody that you should not want to let go as a brand, and certainly not for someone that appears to be of higher value.
Right.
Like the metrics are all
Right.
messed up.
Right. So what with that said, what are some things that you think often that you don't sorry, I'm gonna say that over, Isaiah. So with that said, what are some things that you think about often that you often don't say out loud? I'll go first.
Oh
He said, let me clutch my
boy.
earring.
So I feel like if we are as creators being held to due dates and standards
Ooh,
and professionalism, I
girl.
think that brands should also strive to also, I mean, I understand things happen, things change, and we get wiggle room. You know, if we say, hey, we
Yeah.
need to push back, and they're
Yeah.
like, it's fine, then I think if they're going to be late with feedback on content or whatever it is, they also need to communicate that with us, because you're going to give me feedback on the week when I decided I was going to take a break. And now you're
Yes.
like, can I have edits
And edit by
tomorrow?
tomorrow.
No.
Girl.
No.
You know what I'll do right quick? I'll pull up that contract, girl. I'll be like, let's see this, as we stated,
Yeah. And I mean, sometimes, okay, you'll make it work if it's, a special certain circumstance. But I also think, like you said, you have home life. You could have planned out
Yes.
a weekend in the woods, and
A
you're
weekend
like,
in my house,
and
girl.
your house, like
Phone
anywhere.
free.
Phone free. And it's just like, so that's something that I think about often. And it's like, I love my partners. But I'm just like, can we do
Yeah.
better? Can we just do
Mhm.
better? Because I am up. I will stay up until 2, 3, 4.
Oh,
make
yeah.
sure my stuff is in. So now, if I give you my stuff on time, can you respond in a reasonable time frame?
And also my money on the day. Also,
She said,
also
8
if
o'clock
my
when it's
money is
supposed
going to be a
hit.
day late, you need to let me know the same way I have to let you know if my content is going to be delivered a day
Especially if
late.
we're dealing with a net 45 and net
Girl,
60.
no.
Yeah.
Hello.
What about you, Alyssa? What do you often think about? You think about a lot of stuff. Listen, I'm her close friend, so she have a lot.
Girl, me too.
I'm like, which story, Dan? Okay, it's
Not
okay. You don't have to call
putting
names.
me on blast. In that same vein, something I often think about is why the deadline's always so tight.
Yeah.
Always. Like some of the bigger brands that I've always kind of wanted to work with will reach out via an agency or what have you. And it's like, all right, we need to hear back by tomorrow and today if you want to participate. I'm like, can I read the contract? Can I think about? And then after you say, okay, I want to participate, they're like, okay, we need content in 2 business days. I'm like, and it's constant. So
Mhm.
I just always wonder why the deadline is so tight.
Right.
Can we get a little
Mm.
bit more time?
Right.
Like
Yeah, I get that
that's
things are last minute, but sometimes I wonder because we're in makeup, right? And we
Yeah.
know that product development takes
Girl,
at least
2
2
3
years.
years.
So
Yeah.
you know that
You know you're gonna need
this is
supporting
gonna
content for this product that
exactly.
you're launching in 2.5 years.
And I
Yeah.
think about this because it's like some of the same brands, and we're think big beauty brands.
Mhm.
It's some of the same brands. Every time I get the brief, it's like, okay, 2 3 business days. I'm like, why?
But it'd be the
Right.
biggest brands that are the most unorganized.
It's
I feel like
crazy.
it's the biggest brands that have the highest turnover rates. It's the biggest brands that are run. I mean, like I don't think that at this point in like US consumerism, especially with like the beauty market, you cannot be the biggest brand and be doing the best and be like ethical and have
Mhm.
your internal employees be as happy as your IT people, as these people.
Mhm.
I feel like you have to pay a price to be a huge brand and you got to cut corners. And I feel like one of those is communication, whether it's
Mhm.
like internally, where sometimes you just get passed on to another person. They're like, oh, this person actually left. And here, we're going to da 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 da.
right.
And there's just so much happening.
Mhm.
And a lot of times there are not enough people
Right. And
on
it's
these
not
teams.
I feel like it's never your contact's fault.
Never.
Right,
They're always doing the best that they can
Right.
with what they have.
Exactly.
Because you're not obviously the only content creator that they're working
For
with.
sure.
So
Exactly.
there's certain things where it's like obviously you're gonna have understanding, but hopefully the brands listening to this can kind of re-strategize. Because I know you're listening.
Yeah.
Re-strategize to 2024 and just
Still bit,
like,
still bit.
just a little bit, just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, that would be nice. Okay, so as a creator, what do you do when you start feeling like burnout and uninspired?
Mm.
Retire. I literally retired for 2 months. The last 2 months,
I love
I
that
have
for you.
barely created content.
I
love
love that.
Oh, I was just
Because-
like, oh, it's like a Jay-Z retirement. It's like,
No,
not
it-
really.
yeah,
It's like not
it's like
really
a soft
retired.
drop.
Can I hold a dollar?
You know what? For the last 2 months, so before then, I was feeling just like at a weird place with content, very not knowing like where my compass was, what my intentions were, navigating with a lot of emotional things regarding content and like the pressures of it now being something that's monetized for me, what that means for my, my day to day and the pressure that involves, but also like, where am I going? What is my goal? What do I want people to take away? Do I want my page to be a bunch of, 6-second TikToks of just TikTok trends and you can see, the highest TikTok trends as soon as you go to my page? Or do I want it to look like something else? And I felt like I was doing that, overworking my brain, working so much on set, not really allowing time for myself. And also I found myself living in the apartment that my partner and I live in, and we have individual bedrooms. My studio fully working, my bedroom, I had slept in my room twice in a year in some months because I was always in my partner's room. I was just kind of throwing my kid stuff on my room. If I needed to switch something out real quick, I would just put something on my bed, use it as my changing for my studio. And I was like, yo, something is off. I need to look within myself and really just like the shakiness that I was feeling and almost like the misdirection was also coming from like my personal life. And I think that's something that a lot of content creators don't give enough importance to. Like, you'll have somebody like Michaela who has said that she records at like from like 6 a.m. to like 5 or 6 p.m. and she doesn't see her husband that whole entire time. That is something that works but it's also something that is a huge compromise and you're
Mhm.
giving something up to give some. There's never enough minutes in the day, enough hours in the day, enough space on your plate for you to be the super person of everything.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, like, in these last 2 months, I renovated my room, painted it, got some wallpaper. I was like, what is going to make this feel like something that I want to decompress in and relax in? Because I wasn't giving myself any of that. And now that I've really just like taken time to exist as a human, go on walks, go on car rides, not do
Mhm.
my makeup every day, not feel bad when I do my makeup because it just makes me feel good and not everything needs to be shared.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and now I feel like I'm refreshed. I'm not up to here with content and like bubbling over and then being like, what's my new strategy? What else am I
Right.
gonna do? I got a new camera. Let me put this to use and let me whip something out. And now that I've taken a break, I'm like, now I feel like I'm myself again
Right.
coming in. Cause it gets so crazy, especially with TikTok, with all these landscapes changing, with now TikTok
Child.
shop is this huge. I haven't been TikTok shop.
You see there's 3 tabs now? It's like your
I
home
it's
and your
Shop and you following.
Isn't that crazy?
For me, it's really the taste of TikTok in my mouth has soured because of TikTok shop. I can't go down without somebody
Constantly.
doing. I don't even
You
see
bought
the
this nail mucin though?
the CosRX.
The CosRX.
Oh, girl, I've been had that.
I know
That
we
is
had
an
it, but it's like
amazing
all over
product.
TikTok shop, you know?
I didn't see that.
Oh, really? I was being served like crazy.
Oh yeah, people are
Um,
loving that snail.
yeah. What about you? What do you do when you're feeling
So
on
I've
this
been
side?
dealing with more burnout this year than ever. Working in advertising, working in sales
Yeah.
specifically is very high performance because you're measured against a metric. You're metric against how, you're measured against how much you sell.
Mm.
And so you're running full speed the entire year, pitching, 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 selling, doing what you have to do. And it takes a toll on you mentally.
Right.
Um, and so I've been experiencing a ton of burnout. And
Mm.
what I've just started doing is just stop posting. Just you just
Girl.
got to leave the content to the side
Yep.
because I know I can't create my best content from a place of lack
Yeah.
Yep.
and from a place of fatigue.
Mhm.
And so I have to pause. Even recently, I stopped for 3 weeks.
Right.
And it just was what it was. The world didn't end. And that's the thing. The world
Girl!
did not end.
You're like,
I didn't lose a ton of followers.
For
It was
real.
A-okay.
Yeah, that's how I feel now.
Right.
Currently,
So
sometimes it feels like that.
yeah.
Sometimes it feels
As if you
like
can't
Your
stop.
nobody
world
will
is
ever
ending.
email me. Never gonna get another PR
I'm not gonna
box.
achieve my
Like,
goals.
I didn't get an
I'm
email
not
all
gonna
week.
I didn't get any more
grow.
week. I'm falling off. The brand is dying. I'm like, girl, it really
Relax.
is
It's
that.
gonna be
It really is that
okay.
okay.
Yeah, I do the same. Like when I get overwhelmed, and I was talking about this in a solo episode, I get super, like, it mightn't look like that on the outside, but when I get super overwhelmed and anxious, like, when you have a lot of things to do and you just don't do any of
Stuck?
them,
Yeah.
you just do anything. Just, I'm in my bed.
It's the
I'm
executive
like,
dysfunction.
yeah, it's just like, okay, I'm just going to relax and I'm just not going to post.
Mm.
Like, I came back from Bahamas and I was like, oh, I probably posted twice or 3 times in September. I was like, oh, it's fashion week. I posted
Girl.
once. I was like, yeah, this. And then I was like, you know what? I was going to go to Paris for fashion week. And I was like, girl, why? Let's just, my friend was going to Italy. I ended up going to Italy. I had the time of my life. It was
I
like the
saw.
best trip I've ever had.
Did you
You
create
look
any
like you
content
had
in
fun.
Italy?
Just like little cute things, like
Very
nothing too
cute.
stressed.
Yeah.
Like, like I had fun.
That
Like it wasn't
dress?
just like
nice.
Can we talk
thanks.
about it?
Love and Lemons.
That
I got
dress
it on a
was
sample sale.
gorge. It was
It was
perfect
just-
for you.
What dress?
I have to show it to you, girl. I don't. Let me show you right now.
Okay,
Actually,
okay,
I'll
okay.
put it on the screen for those of you who are watching the visual episode. But it's a brand called Love and Lemons, and I got it at a sample sale, and it was just like it was an online sample sale
Bomb.
actually, and I was like,
I said,
I don't know where I'm ever
Miss
going to wear this
Jaleesa.
dress, but I'm gonna buy this dress.
Wow,
She
I
wore it.
love. Let me see.
Dawn. Fabulous.
Oh, you don't understand.
I was like,
I
girl,
said, she's giving Capri.
I was like,
wait,
so I was just like,
my bad.
oh, you good? I was just like, I just want to have fun. I just
Yes.
want to enjoy myself on this trip. We coming down to the end of the year, and I bust my this year. I bust my
Period.
ass. So I was just like, girl, this is your trip, this is your time. And I had such a good time. And now I honestly do feel renewed, but I don't want to come back into it and put those pressure like, oh, da, da, da. Like
Yes,
I
Now
have
you
like,
gotta catch
yeah, like
up.
you
You're
yeah.
catch up.
behind.
I'm
It's
just
like, all right,
like,
you got to go on
yeah.
100%. Just because like you gave yourself a little rest, now you got to go
Right.
100%.
Right.
And then,
And
and
it's
then
like,
you
that's
drag
not what it's
yourself out
about.
until you get to another
And
point.
It's
of
really
burnout,
about
and then
going
it's just a
It's a
cycle.
chill.
cycle.
So
Yes.
I have a bunch of content, and we were just talking about this before
Girl.
we hit record.
I got about 50 videos just living in my phone. The
Literally,
way
and
I
I was
hate
just like,
editing, though.
we were just like,
This-
weekends are
Yes.
so trash on TikTok, but I was like, I'm gonna post it because what is gonna do? I'm gonna do it when. So
Yeah.
I'm just like, it is what it is. So, yeah, I want to see the wallpaper.
Girl.
Though. Oh, that's so cute.
Ooh.
And then the other-
I like.
I did love my skincare show.
Oh my,
Color coded.
So
I thought that
oh
was
my
perfume.
god, that looks like a shelfie, like the ones
And it's
that Glossy
color
used to do.
coded.
Yeah, I did like a little
Love.
rainbow.
But that must feel so good when you walk in there.
It is.
Yes.
It's just like
Sleeping in my own
woosah.
bed is, I didn't realize how much
Such a good feeling.
I was putting into my career and not into myself.
Mm.
And as much like I love being on set and doing makeup on people a lot more than doing makeup on myself and recording it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I had just been filling the cups, my audience cups.
Mm-hmm.
I've been feeding Instagram, I've been feeding TikTok,
You're
and I've just been
flying.
kind of leaving myself like just exhausted at the end of the day, barely taking my makeup off, barely taking my skincare off, like just not treating myself as important as I've been treating my work.
Right.
Yes.
Which just also puts you at a weird
yes.
place with yourself because then your value is just tied to your engagement,
Output.
your content, and that shit can make you
Yes.
so anxious to even press record and let it live in your camera roll.
It
Right.
can make you hate it.
Right.
1,000%.
Yeah. Yeah. So I actually want to get into business practices
Oh.
now, So you both are running businesses while having full-time careers. It is 2 full-time jobs that you have.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What
Thank
are
you.
some of your favorite? No, for real.
No, for real.
It is. That's
That's
what it
real.
is.
I don't really, yeah.
What are some of your favorite tools that helps you stay organized?
QuickBooks, girl.
Google Doc me every single
Oh, you're a
day
Google.
of the week.
That makes sense.
Not that I work for Google or anything.
Not
Yeah,
this
but
is
you're
not a plug.
Are you a Google Suite?
This is not a plug. I just have a Google Doc for every platform that I'm on, and I write down the ideas,
Mhm.
and I also write down the videos I've created. Why? Because
Oh.
sometimes
Girl, you
I'll
better
go on
reduce
a
it.
I'll go on a hiatus and I'll
Hello.
forget that I created them.
Reduce for you.
So I actually just posted on my private stories about that. I had found like 3 videos I had shot 6 weeks ago that I completely forgot about.
Wow.
But had I not documented it,
You're
the
right.
content would have never seen the light of
Because
day.
you're really, we
What's your
always say I'm
sign?
gonna go through my
Taurus.
content.
Ooh.
You're a Taurus too, yeah.
No, I'm an Aquarius.
Oh,
Mm.
Taurus gang.
I'm a
Taurus and
Taurus
Capricorn.
moon. What are you?
I'm a Capricorn through and through.
But yes, Google Docs
Google
for
Docs.
everything. I'll do an Excel also and write down how much money is owed to me. But I stopped doing that because I do FreshBooks. Actually,
FreshBooks.
What's
for my
that?
invoice. It's like
QuickBooks.
QuickBooks.
Oh, okay.
But I do that for my invoices now, and that way I'm able to track. It'll tell me, hey, it's been 30 days, 45 days,
Mhm.
however many days you did, that type
Me
of thing.
too,
So
yeah.
from a financial perspective, that system keeps me organized. But for my ideas and such,
Just
Google
Google
Docs. Yes.
What about you? You said
Ideas are hard.
QuickBooks.
QuickBooks is my girl. QuickBooks just works for me and my clients, my like makeup clients, and also for partners, and it works with my accountant. I think something that definitely not enough creators talk about is how important it is to get an accountant that knows what content creation entails.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Reason I say so is because I had subscribed to a very expensive, like budgeting kind of like tax preparing service that marketed itself for freelancers, bench. And I joined that and I had back like organizational stuff to do, like for my the things for your write-offs and whatever.
Yeah.
I must have paid this company $6,000 in total
Oh.
because they were doing back like organizational for me, right?
Wow.
they come back with this outrageous number that I would have to owe the IRS. And I was like, wait. I'm not no mathematician, but this is
The math is not
One
mathing.
This is
the math ain't mathing.
extremely
1 plus 1 is not
is 70
Is it
million.
right.
Like,
525,600
it
minutes,
ain't
girl.
two.
So turns out that because these people, freelancing is one thing.
Mhm.
You can be a freelance contractor. You could be a freelance, so many things. When you're a content creator, so many things go into your content
Mhm.
that are business related.
Mhm.
And when you don't have an accountant that understands that, they don't make the correct decisions for you in your tax preparation
Mhm.
because they don't understand that if I'm buying 6 tops, it's because, girl, it's not because I care for the tops. It's because I need to switch up these tops in my content.
Right, exactly.
My tops got stains on them. I'm like, I had to get rid of that one white shirt, and then I gotta do this.
Oh, I have an
and
event to go to that I can't go looking busted.
Well, if you just wear your last good blazer or whatever, and you're gonna be on camera, you're gonna do like you're
Right.
gonna need a period.
Come on,
You're
Kalana.
gonna need something else, and it is as essential to your job as
Yes.
tools are to a mechanic.
Right.
Your
Yes.
image is everything in this
Period.
business. And so once I found a great accountant who had worked with other content creators, who had worked with other influencers, things were so much easier. And he also loves QuickBooks, which is why I took QuickBooks.
Oh, that's good.
And now we're here. And yes, I got my money back, girl.
Oh, great.
Yes.
I sure did.
I love that for you.
I love Asana. I use Asana.
I've heard
Okay.
of that.
It's the best. I mean, my team wants me to kind of like switch over to ClickUp, but just my entire
I
life
started
isn't.
ClickUp.
Do you
What's
like it?
ClickUp?
Yeah, I kind of do like it. I stopped using it, but I like it.
It's
Yeah.
just
I
like
can see why
what's the
people-
difference?
ClickUp is
what's
way
Asana?
intuitive. Asana is kind of like, have you heard of Monday.com?
No.
It's kind of okay. How can I explain? It's basically like an online calendar, but it's more intuitive than that. You
It's
can
like a
create
project
lists. It's like
management system.
project management tool. So I have my calendar in there, but I also have like everybody has access to it. My agency has access.
Yes, it's
so they,
collaborative.
yeah, it's collaborative. So they could put stuff in my calendar. So that runs my life. If I
Oh,
don't,
wow,
if it's
you
not
are
on,
organized.
no, but that's the only thing. Because if I don't
Mhm.
have that on, if it's
Kinda
not on
have to be.
Asana, it doesn't exist.
And you
It's
can
like
do
we're at the
invoices
age
on
where it's
Asana
like,
too?
no. I use Invoice
Oh,
still.
Asana. Oh, Invoice to go.
Yeah,
oh
I
my
still
God.
you worked with them.
Yeah, I won a $15,000 grant from Invoice to Go
Nice.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
And that is the first invoicing platform that I ever use.
Right. Well, I have an
my back,
agency,
girl.
so I don't really invoice like that.
Oh, okay, that makes
But
sense.
it's still I still have it if I need to use it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Asana is that.
Wow,
girl.
y'all are really organized. I love that you have everything like in documentation.
Yeah.
I just can't work like that. I've tried so many different project task managers.
It's a lot. It becomes a lot.
It's a lot because
it
I have
is a
so many
lot.
ideas. Like the way all my content and things are organized now is I just found this app. I think it's on I don't know if it's called like Freeform or something. And it's basically like and it works really well for like my ADHD, my executive dysfunction, everything. It's almost like an endless singular sheet of paper that you can just endlessly
Writing.
zoom out of.
Okay.
And then you can zoom in and then you
Oh,
can get
seen
really tiny and then you can see big
Interesting.
picture things. So I have just one huge one for
Interesting.
content and I use my Apple Pencil. I'm not like a
I
typey
love
Excel girl.
that.
I literally have a spider web and it's like content and then it's like makeup, whatever,
that's
whatever. And then
cool.
within then
Cute.
I'm like more spiders.
But listen, I'm old school. I have a notebook.
Oh, me too.
I need
I
a
used to do the most.
Oh, me too. My phone
I
be dead.
need to write
well.
things down.
Mhm.
The only thing is, I'm just like, I sometimes put some of the things in the notebook on notes in case like I need to switch over stuff.
Yes.
But for the most part, I'm writing my ideas down.
Yeah.
I'm writing what I'm posting down. So, anyways,
Period.
yeah.
I
How
have
do you
to-
organize yourself, Jaleesa?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, Asana, and then my notebook.
oh, so you put in like your content.
So an Asana has everything, my personal stuff and also work stuff.
Ah.
So that's literally the hub of it's
Got
like
it.
my
But do
master
you consider
schedule.
like, let's say if you're creating a video about like how to contour something?
That's not going to be in my calendar at all.
Oh, so how do you organize that with yourself? Do you
I
just
r- I
find
just-
pockets of time
That's a
to
good
do
question.
things in?
Yeah. So what do you mean find pockets of
So like,
time?
let's say if you have a makeup job in the morning and you get back home at like 2:00.
Oh, I'll put like 12 to 3 create content, or I'll just put content day or something like that. But I'm not like, oh, I'm not going in like, oh, these are the 3 videos we're creating. I'll more so write those things down. We're gonna pause for a second.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah.
grab the notebook so you guys can see.
This is helpful. I need to stretch my lip.
I think it's just how my brain. This is how my brain works. I just can't.
It's helpful.
It's so old school. I had a bigger notebook and I had to bring a small. I had to get a. Oh, let me just get back to the recording.
Yeah, I'm gonna read.
So I had a bigger notebook, and I realized sometimes when I'm traveling or I have a smaller handbag, I just sometimes feel the need, like when I'm overwhelmed and I just need to get things out of my brain, I need to
Yes.
write it down. Like I can't type because I'm always typing, I'm always on social. So this is my little handy dandy notebook, okay? And literally I write down, this is my brain dump of all the ideas that I need
Love.
to edit.
Can I see?
Like,
Oh, that you need to edit. You already shot it.
Yeah, some of those
Okay.
are things that I
I
shot.
have a notes and I have like a 2 film and then I have a 2 edit, and it's like just all the things that I know are
Literally.
in my camera roll, and
Yeah.
I'm like, you have a video about brushes, you have a video about this in there.
So if you turn the page, let me see. So basically that's what I'm posting this week.
Wow. Okay.
So when I'm on my game,
This is how I do stuff. Yeah,
right. When I'm on my game, that's what it looks
that's
like.
like your schedule.
Okay.
I write down, okay, because you see how many scratches it has. I'm
yeah.
like whatever. So that kind of keeps
Nice.
me
This is
accountable.
awesome.
Because if I don't write it down, when it's time to post, I'm like, oh shit, it's 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
I'm not ready.
And that's what, you know what,
You know
that's
what I
where
mean?
I find myself all the time. But it's honestly because I haven't gotten back into the routine of like doing that foundational work where you're like, okay, this is already uploaded on TikTok and my drafts. This is here. All I got to do is like
Right.
send it off.
But I'm not that good where I'm like, everything is always ready. But
Girl.
for this, having an outline of like, okay, I know what I need to post on Monday. So at least over the weekend, I'll be like, let me just do this real quick.
Right.
And that's how I kind of like got really consistent on TikTok. So that's when I'm finally, now that I'm refreshed, I'm like, okay, like I can kind of divvy out what I have already shot.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not really like stressed right now to be trying to record a bunch of stuff. There's a
Right.
couple of things where I'm like,
Right.
oh, actually, I want to do this. But for the most part, I'm like, whatever. You gonna get this vlog. I don't care if 300 people watch it. Like,
Right. Well, optimally speaking, that's what I try to do. I just try to get things
I know you batch
as
record,
draft.
right?
Yes. I batch record and try.
batch.
I be batching. I don't have a choice though.
I feel like
because it's
batching when it comes to like fragrance and bags, I can see myself being like a successful batcher. But when it comes to like me doing my makeup,
It
it's
takes too damn
different.
long.
it takes
It-
too
it takes too long.
dang
Yeah.
long.
It does.
Like if I have like if I want to do like a tip about like color corrector, concealer, or whatever, by the time I finish that, I'm like, girl, what I'm not about to do is take off my face and show
And
you
do it
how
again.
to do something else.
No.
Right. Well, one thing I noticed that some people do is sub videos to the makeup videos.
Yeah.
That they
Yeah.
do.
And that takes that like early planning.
Yeah.
It does. I'm like,
gotta get in my
I see
early
what you
planning
did
bag.
there,
Yeah.
girl.
Yes.
Like,
Definitely a process.
It is a
So let's
process.
talk about rates. How do you establish your rates and navigate gifting partnerships? Or is gifting partnerships not even a thing? Because obviously we all started somewhere, and like
Mm.
it doesn't matter. We're gonna have people reaching out to us no matter how big or small that we are.
Mhm.
How do you guys navigate, your rates? Are you raising your rates every year, every 6 months? Are you, crowdsourcing information from your community? How do you navigate?
yeah, when I have my rates established nowadays, but when I first got started, I was definitely crowdsourcing. When I was
Mhm.
unsure, I'm like, let me see what the market
Yeah.
is looking like. Let me ask someone who has around the same followers and
Mhm.
creates kind of the same type of content that I create and see what's working. And so that's pretty much how I started with my rates. And in terms of raising them every year, 100%, because inflation is going to
Real
inflate
girl, the milk is gonna get more expensive. and
every
so am I.
single time.
Like, how
So
much
am
is
I.
eggs?
Hello.
Girl,
I don't think I'm
eggs.
eating eggs.
And listen, I'm a 2-3 eggy girl. I'm a breakfast girl. So.
But I am not afraid to talk to other creators. I mean, that's what the community is kind of
Right.
supposed to be
Yeah.
for as well. And other creators come to me too, be like, hey girl, what you charge for this? And I
Mhm.
am not afraid to be like, I charge X for that, especially
Right.
when it comes to things like whitelisting, those
Mhm.
gray areas
Yes.
that
Right.
people are not always the most familiar with. I know that can get a little complicated, and it's
Mhm.
not. And the reality is, a lot of this stuff is not consistent. There's
Right.
like
It could
kind of
be
no rules.
could be 5 million
Low-key-
and then 5 cents.
right. Like there's kind of no rules.
Right.
Um, but yeah, that's kind of how I do mine.
What about you, Carol?
I think this industry is so not standardized that rates
Yeah.
are such a big, I don't know, it's crazy because there really is no minimum to maximum. I don't have any established rates.
Mm-hmm.
I have a manager who really just like does all that stuff for me, not because I'm uncomfortable with it, more of just like when I used to negotiate my own rate, it would be like 65 emails before we even got a contract signed.
Wow.
And I could not,
It's too
It's too much.
much.
I can't do that, especially when I'm on set, if I'm doing this, if I'm doing that. But when it came to gifting partnerships, I also think that they can be a little predatory, but also right for the right creator
Yes.
who is a smaller creator, who even
Mhm.
is somebody. It really depends on how much you value your video, your content, your expertise. Because if you are comfortable, with 100,000 followers taking $100 from a brand for doing a video, I say that's extremely low. But some people are like, I've always wanted to have a relationship with this brand and this is my way in.
Yeah.
Right.
Which I'm like, I respect it because
Right.
there are so many different ways to get acquainted with a brand and to have a brand really get you on their radar. And sometimes all it takes is like for a social media manager to see your post or for
Mhm.
you to tag it or things like that. So I'm not knocking product gifting, but also as somebody who does this full time, if at the end of the month I don't have enough money for my rent, I can't go to my landlord and be like, "Will you take this mascara? What about this what about this lip gloss?
Right.
What about this? But I got this, whatever for free and at the
That
end of
don't
the
pay the
day what
bills.
you are doing with your time, well, my time specifically, it has to be so intentional
Mm-hmm.
that I'm just like, I am not spending my light, my day, my time. I'm also somebody who struggles with a lot of chronic pain and somebody who is just like always something is happening with my body and I'm like, yo, sitting for hours doing content in front of those lights sometimes be wearing me out worse than being on set.
Right.
And so like at this point, I'm not doing anything to make anybody money for some product
Right.
at all.
Right.
And it's not even like a disrespect thing. It's just like at this time, I'm not accepting gifting partnerships.
Right.
Would love to continue, the relationship, but like, girl, if you want to work with me,
Right.
you gotta have some budget.
Right.
You gotta bring something to the table.
Right.
And not just your product, which you are making like a 400% profit off
Right.
of
I
already.
think it's a good, in the beginning, obviously, when you're trying to build a relationship, I kind of
Mhm.
look at PR as like, this is an
It's their
opportunity.
opportunity,
It's an
yeah.
opportunity.
They're giving
Like,
you this now. Let's see what you can do with it. Now
right.
you have the
Yes.
product. You
Right.
don't have to pay. PR is like the best way to get on a brand's radar. And also like I think sometimes creators forget that behind brands are people who are also wanting to establish and are looking for new creators, new partnerships. Like these are the people that you want to have like a human relationship with. And like email back the PR email.
Yeah.
Start a relationship. You don't have to wait for a brand to be like, "Oh my god, we love you. We would love to offer you a 3-month contract for this much money and this is
Right.
going to be amazing." Da-da-da-da-da. Like a lot of times you have to create those opportunities for you and
Yes.
put yourself in front of a brand for them to be like, "Oh, who's this?
Right.
This is a great fit."
And that has happened to you a lot, right? You've created organic content and then brands are like, hi.
Yes, definitely. Or when I used to get some good engagement on Instagram, things have changed since.
Girl, for all of us.
Oh,
I would definitely, yeah, I know it's been a struggle for a lot of people, but I would just DM the brand and be like, hey, this generated XYZ views, and they would whitelist, right? That
Yep.
would be a very easy in. But one thing I was definitely going to say in relation to having a 9 to 5 and a career and trying to content create is it can be hard to create those opportunities because the time it takes to pitch and pitch effectively
Girl.
mm-hmm. And follow up.
and follow up.
It's a full-time job to
And
create jobs for yourself. It's
right.
almost like finding a job when you are unemployed. You are spending your entire day making a resume tailored for every job that you're applying. If you're really going hard, you're applying, you're having all these intro
Right.
interviews. You can get like these crumbs from these brands and it can ultimately lead to nothing. But sometimes I feel like They're
that
like,
one.
oh,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah.
And especially customizing those pitches for
Mhm.
different things, whether it could be for handbags, it could be for
Mhm.
perfume, it could be for skincare. Those all require different things. And depending on the
Yeah.
brand, that's all going to require a bunch of other things that you're going to have to put in the pitch, in the email and
Right.
such. You want to personalize it. You want to.
You
You
don't
want
want to
the
just
brand
be
to
like
know.
sound like Chat
Right,
GPT.
Oh my God, that AI.
Child. Something I often think about is how much more successful could I be? How much more could I make if I would just make more time to pitch? But again, as you mentioned earlier, I also have a partner whose love language is time spent.
Girl,
man
girl,
wanna
it's the
be-
quality
Give me
time.
that phone. Give me that phone.
It's the quality time.
The quality.
They need the
He
quality
a November
time.
Scorpio, baby. He
My
wanna,
girl is
he
an
wanna be
October Libra.
What
An
day?
October Libra.
the 19th.
Oh.
He want to be in the room and he want me to be engaged.
Yes.
So
Yes.
Yours is
Yo,
Scorpio too?
no, mine is a Libra, but
Oh, okay.
also their
Same.
huge thing is quality time.
quality time.
Huge thing. And it's something so crazy as a creator to, like, I don't, how long have you been with your husband? I feel like y'all been together.
5-6 years. We've been married 3. So 5-6 years.
So do you know
total.
content creation in this level before him?
Yes.
So are there differences? Do you feel weird making content when he's there or like he's listening? I feel the embarrassment. If I gotta re-record a story, girl,
wait,
my partner better be in the
wait.
bathroom.
Whenever I repeat myself, he'll turn his chair around because his office is down the hall. I can feel his chair turning around. Like, you gonna record that again?
He's like, honey, that was not. Well, you know what's so funny? I actually have another question. How do you guys decide which brands you want to work with when it comes to occasions like Juneteenth, National Hispanic Heritage Month, Black History Month? Because we all know, and it was a conversation online, that Black History Month was real crickets. So obviously, Black History Month was very quiet this year. And, I know that others have experienced brands having interest in them, during these times, but the rest of the year it's Bird Box that you don't see me at.
Yo, turn her mic off. Immediately.
I'm being so serious
Not
right
Bird
now.
Box.
I'm being so serious. Okay.
It's good to tell on the
So, how do you navigate which brand? It's like, I don't. That's the answer. No, but how do you navigate which brands you work with during those times? Because you can tell who's just there to be like, all right, who's Black?
For real.
Or who's,
who's gay.
Who's
non-binary.
Right.
Gay.
Let me find a good they, them.
Right. So how do you guys navigate those opportunities?
I feel like I can tell when it's inauthentic. Typically for those big moments, for me, it's like Hispanic Heritage Month, Pride Month. Pride is a really interesting time because the girlies come out from everywhere. And I'm like, that's crazy because y'all, I don't know, it's interesting because although I understand the point of some of these brands is like, tap into these queer creators, it does feel like this lived human experience that comes with pain and joy and sadness and anger, and it feels like a transaction. And so like when it comes, I typically will only partner with brands that I have partnered with in the past. For example, Maybelline is a huge partner.
Yep.
And Maybelline has highlighted and exalted my story for years. I'm talking like 5-6 years.
Consistency.
I was talking about being non-binary before I even quit my job at an ad agency in 2019 on Maybelline. And they're somebody who I work with them in a makeup artist capacity, and I see the efforts, the genuine year-round efforts to support marginalized communities.
Yep.
And so when they tag on me, it's less of a, let me trade my trauma for a bag.
Right.
And more of like such an honor that you thought of me, this brand that holds itself to high standards when it comes to these moments. it becomes so much more of an honor. And I think that only happens with a brand that sees you
Mhm.
not as your trauma story, not as
As
your
a commodity.
marginalization, not as your oppression and your sadness and your trauma, but more of like, you're a great makeup artist. Tell us about how, your Latinx heritage impacted your makeup artistry, or, you know, for Pride Month. If you're only checking on me for Pride Month and you've never sent me a PR package, you don't follow me on my socials. I'm like, not doing that.
Right.
Not doing that.
Yeah. It's the same thing with Black History Month too. And I love how they kind of give you creative freedom. Like there might be an overarching
Yes.
theme, but like you're like, you do you, we trust you. Like to
But
me, that's the difference.
but I'm also like, do brands do that because they know that if they, like, for example, a brand is never going to go up to a Black person and be like, hey, we want you to do our video with this foundation. Can you talk about your struggles growing up,
Right.
your color?
Right.
A person is not going to reach out to me for Pride and be like, can you talk about how traumatizing it was to come out to your
Right.
family?
Right.
I think that it's nice that they give us that freedom, but I think there's also this underlying knowledge of, if I didn't have this experience, I wouldn't have this experience.
Right.
Which is also just something weird to kind of like
Right.
tackle.
Right.
But I think it's better than tapping into creators that don't identify.
Mm-hmm.
Like don't tap into a white creator on Black History Month.
Right.
At the very least do that, but at the most, Black people are here year round.
Yeah.
Gay
Literally.
people are here year round.
Right.
Black people are creating viral content and setting trends year round. Queer
Yeah.
people are not only on July 1st, it's not like we disappear
Right.
and then we come back May 31st
Right.
midnight.
Right.
So it's the authenticity.
Yeah. And when I was talking about the creative brief, I totally agree with your point, but I'd actually come up with the idea and I did iconic women in music.
I love that.
That.
The Lauryn
I
Hill,
love that.
Jill Scott,
Yes.
Erica Badu, like that was so much fun for me. So it was just like
And-
this was an idea I was going to do anyway.
and it
just
yeah.
happened to end up working for the collaboration.
And in these moments, I feel like brands are able to see the value that content creators bring as not just personalities on camera,
Mm-hmm.
but writers,
Mhm.
producers, lighting, sound, editing, all these things that go into it. And there are so many ways that things like Black History Month are done wrong.
Mhm.
And it's typically because the brand is like, this is what's going to work well, when they actually don't know what the community
Right.
wants. So it's always nice when they're like, Jaleesa, what do you think will be good?
Right.
And you're like, I think this will pop. And they're
Right.
like, great, let's put some money behind it.
Right.
That is like true.
I agree.
Brand values are definitely big for me, but I also pay attention to the types of people that they have on their social media pages as well. I had years ago, I had a brand that had a hair oil send me their oil, and it's a pretty big brand. And I was like, let me go check out their social media. I didn't see anyone who had my skin tone.
Mhm.
I didn't see anyone with my hair texture. And so I was just like, why am I going to talk about this? And you don't even feature people who look like me on your social media pages or your website.
Right.
And the thing is, your audience catches on to that type of thing too. You may
Right.
not think they do, but your audience pays attention.
Right.
And for that reason, usually I'll be like, maybe not this brand,
Right.
because you don't work with people like me on
Right.
on a typical basis, and
Right.
you don't want to feel tokenized either.
Exactly.
Especially during those key times, the Black History Months, Latinx History Month.
Mhm.
You don't want to be the token
Right.
when historically you've just never
Right.
even thought to reach out
Exactly.
to people who look like me, you, or
Right.
you.
Yeah.
So those are those two things, values, and do you feature people who look like me, or include people who look like me
Right.
on your pages?
Okay, I agree. I absolutely agree. Let's get into some product talk.
Ooh. Why are we like this?
So, the life of a makeup artist, we all know we have a love for beauty, bags, fragrance, makeup, everything. What's one of the best products you've used this year?
Got it. Hanny. It's sold in Sephora. Y'all know I've talked about this
Oh,
before. The
yes.
Splash Solve. It's an in-shower moisturizer.
Ooh.
Ooh.
So good.
Have you
For
used
those
their
days,
razors?
I need to try their razors. But for those days where I'm lazy, feeling lazy, come home from work late, you take a
Mm.
shower, you put that thing on in the shower, and then you let the water run,
Ooh,
and then you
cut
step
it
out, and your
out.
skin is so
Glistening?
it's not
Really?
glistening, but it's so soft.
Ooh.
I have
So,
to
so
try that.
soft. Like
Mm.
that product, I'll talk about it all
How you
day
spell
long.
it? H-A?
HANNI.
And the packaging is like a deep
Yeah, it's like
maroon.
yeah. And they also
Ooh.
have a water balm that you can also use with it. It's a spray, it's a hydrating spray for your skin. So I usually
Oh,
do
a
the in
hydrating
yeah, so you usually
spray.
do the in-shower moisturizer, then go in with the hydrating spray. You don't need lotion. You really don't.
Oh
Because the
wow.
product is fairly
Mm.
thick.
Yeah.
And again, while you do wash it off in the shower, you don't use your hands to wash it off. You just kind of let the water run, and your
Mhm.
skin is just very, very soft and smooth. It's
Mm.
amazing.
I
I love
love
it
this.
so much.
What
Real
about
bad.
you, Carol? And it's a hard question. We use so much
Ooh.
stuff.
Product. You know, the Anastasia Beverly Hills lip liners.
Ooh.
They
Malt?
have malt, cool brown, blackberry. The
Didn't
girl
those
deep
launch
taupe.
not too long ago? Am I
No, I
crazy?
think they launched either very early this year
Yeah.
or maybe
I
late
was gonna
last year.
say
ABH lip liner. The formula
Mm-hmm.
is long wearing,
okay.
but it doesn't have those film formers that waterproof or like very water resistant lip liners
What do you
have. So
mean
where
film former?
film formers are film formers are a they basically are different. Okay, let me explain this. Film
Didn't mean
formers are what is in makeup that gives longevity
okay,
to
okay.
makeup. For example, uh Stunna lip paint
Mm-hmm.
is gonna have a level of film former in the formula that the velvety one is not gonna have.
Okay,
So
okay.
the film former, think of like Maybelline vinyl, like tick, 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 where you gotta
Mhm.
shake it and then you apply it, or like Superstay.
Okay.
Anything that is long lasting has film formers that once they set, it makes your product less permeable and less like affected by movement,
Got it.
oils,
Mm-hmm.
things that
That makes
like
sense.
Kat Von D lipsticks. Girl, film former,
To the
hell,
to.
hell,
Mhm.
film former,
Oh,
hell.
okay.
But yeah, ABH lips, they're awesome. They're really deep. They're great.
So this is kind of like this is a similar question, but not the same. So you are
Mhm.
now reincarnated and you're coming back as a beauty product. Which product are you? I'll go first. So I used to in the past I would come back as NARS Soft Matte Concealer.
Mm,
If it's kind of one of those hidden gems, if you know, you know.
the pots.
A lot of the
I
pots.
feel like you tried to put
Yes.
oh, okay. I feel like you tried to put me onto those, but not the pots. I think we're talking about something
No,
different.
the pots are incredible.
Yeah.
But I've already said that on the podcast. So
Ooh.
I think if I were to be reincarnated to a makeup product, it would have to be Juvia's Place bronzers. Because
Really?
the bronzers, and not the cream ones. The cream ones I've been loving, but the powder bronzer, it's it's approachable, right? It's you get 2 shades. It's not too expensive, although I consider myself expensive, but it's that girl. Like
Okay.
it's one of those products that I always have to have. Like
What do
I
you like
have,
about it?
huh?
What do you like about it?
I like that it is so I feel like a lot of bronzers sometimes when it sits on the skin, it just kind of it doesn't blend
It gets
smooth.
patchy.
It
Yeah.
gets very patchy.
Okay.
And the fact that it's $20 for 2 shades,
Yeah.
why would I recommend you go and buy a $50 bronzer for 1 shade?
Yeah.
True.
Because you can get lighter, you can get darker. And I use it as eyeshadow, like I use it on all my
Okay.
clients, and they have a very good range, like from the lightest, like
Mm.
paper white to deep Lupita skin tone could get a bronzer. And that's not, you can't get that with a lot of brands.
True.
Especially at that
brand-
price point.
Especially at a price point. And then sometimes it also like runs too red.
Yes.
Like clay.
yes.
Like this couch.
I was gonna say.
Yes.
Like it gets too red. So
Yes.
I think it's a
Yeah.
really, really, really good product. And I've use it time and time again to the point where I made my own palette. I depotted it and I put it in.
I
my
was
house.
just I was just gonna say because
Yeah.
I've been loving the Maybelline, the Super Stay powders,
I love.
and I
that
think I'm gonna
powder.
deep because they sent
No,
me the
they-
whole
you can't.
connection. You can't depot them.
They're very difficult to depot and they would break. I tried.
No, like repress them.
You're gonna break them and repress them?
That's what I did to my whole kit. I have an arbor press at home, girl. I got a factory. You come through?
I'm coming over.
Listen.
Ah, 'cause I
no,
tried-
I'm not
I
depoting
tr-
those big circles.
I tried
girl.
to, and they break.
No,
I have so many
because
broken
they're
right
so
now.
like silky.
Yeah.
Oh no, yeah. I'm gonna put all of them. I think I'm gonna just gather because I've been loving working with pressed powders lately. And those are so smooth and they have such good pigmentation.
It's so good.
It's so good. Just
It's
adding that extra little
so
highlight, that extra little
good.
warmth. Right at the end.
Alyssa, you don't understand.
At the
You
end
need
of
this
a
powder.
face, girl, at the end of a face is like if you want to blur anything, if you want to deepen anything, if you want to highlight anything, like a good pressed powder is going to take you there. So
Let me
I'm gonna
tell
depot
you.
them into little squares, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
have a little pressed powder palette.
So I started using this when it first came out last year.
Yep.
When I have sun in my apartment, and when I tell you that
Oh,
that light hits your
filter.
face,
Filter.
and it just
smooth.
get
Wow.
355.
Okay.
Yeah.
355?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like we're the same shade in a couple.
Yeah,
different things.
340. I feel like sometimes you're a little bit more red.
I was just gonna say it's gonna be
do
too yellow.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Yeah.
too yellow. So she
You're
needs
more golden.
355.
She's more red. Yeah.
Yeah.
Period.
We're here,
girl.
Okay,
Neutral
so,
girly. Ooh,
So what would you reincarnate as?
Can it be a bag?
I was gonna say lash
I love seeing your
extensions.
bags.
She's gonna say like
Not because of what
I
you
love that.
Not because of what y'all said earlier, but I was like,
Mm.
because when you have your lash extensions on, you
You
can just
look
go.
like a baddie.
Yeah.
You can get up and you can go and you can feel like you're put together.
So you're kind of one of those, if you know, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
Mm.
girls that get it.
And the girls that don't have lashes that look like this.
Or none.
Or none.
Or not. I will say this, my lash tech had went away for some time and my lashes were off.
Rufus.
I'm my lashes so much.
You're
I
like,
did.
Who is
And
she?
I had forgotten how to use a mascara wand, child. So I was getting the black stuff all in the corners of
Ooh.
my eyes. I was like, this is the ghetto. I don't want to be here anymore.
No
I want to go
mascara
back
smudges
to
with
these
lashes.
extensions.
It's
so
amazing.
funny.
I
That's
love when
so funny.
clients have good lash extensions.
Mm-hmm.
When you have a client that keeps up with their lash extensions, it's the easiest thing because the glam goes on just that quick.
Mhm.
And then I'm
when
like,
you don't
great, I
gotta
don't have
put-
to do lash.
Period. I don't gotta cut a lash. I don't gotta curl a
And then
lash. I
you're
don't
like-
gotta place it with the tweezer, and then you're blinking, and then you're tearing, and then the
And then
lift
you're like,
up,
oh,
and then
the
girl,
corner.
it hurts. Girl, let's be for real. Let's be for real. Blink 3 more
It's like,
times,
I'm
and you
let
will
it,
be fine.
Let it dry for a little
Carol.
bit.
For
Let's just let it
real.
dry
I'm like,
for a
girl,
little
we
bit.
haven't even pinched them yet.
Yeah. Okay, so we're in our last section of our, our discussion. I want to get into some advice. What advice would you give to those wanting to do more content? And I know we talked a lot about that today, but still being full time. Like, do you ever see yourself going full time? Like, it's a two-prong
Yeah.
question.
I would definitely say you have to find a system that works for you.
Mm-hmm.
Because your full-time job is naturally going to take precedent. There's going to be days where you're working late or you're just burnt out. You don't want to do anything and you just don't want your content to suffer. You don't want your consistency to suffer. And so I say find a system that works for you, find a way to get organized and try to set yourself up for success as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
That is going to be my tip. Like I said, I use Google Docs to try to stay organized. I batch shoot to try to
Mm-hmm.
create as much content as possible. And I specifically batch shoot for those days for that future Alyssa who's just like, I don't feel like it today.
Mm.
Yeah.
I ain't got it in me today.
Yeah.
But the previous Alyssa already made the content and set
Love
the
that.
future Alyssa up for success.
You said,
So thanks, babe.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Kiss
my
the mirror,
advice.
like
For real.
What
That-
about you, Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
Go ahead. No, you're good. Go
What
ahead.
about you, Carol?
I would say to those wanting to get more into content while having a full-time job, I would ask why,
Mhm.
what your purpose is.
Mm-hmm.
Because like you said, it is having 2 full-time jobs.
Yeah.
Things don't necessarily get easier when you're a content creator, even
Mhm.
if the bags look better than like your every 2 weeks or whatever. There's so many advantages and privileges and like perks to being a content creator that a lot of people see, but there are so many. The foundation is built on what you don't see.
Mhm.
And so if you're wanting to be a content creator because you're hearing about, people getting paid 50K for a TikTok, you're like, okay, the price tag is cute,
Mhm.
but what does that mean? What does that mean for your life? Do you have a family? Are you ready to step away from like a traditional salary? Do you understand that that comes with no health insurance or extremely expensive out of pocket health insurance? Do you understand that now, you're doing your own taxes, you're doing your own accounting, you don't have a HR or finance department, you're doing all your own emails, you are paying for all of your own shit.
Mhm.
There's no company giving you no laptop so you can do no work on it. Girl, if your laptop is busted, you better take your ass to
No
Apple
work from home
and get some
setup.
Apple Care, Apple Credit.
Right.
So it really is like it is a very shiny, flashy thing to be, but it's also like, what is your intention? Do you have a love for connecting with people? Do you have a love for creating? And if you do, get up a little earlier. Batch content.
Mhm.
Even if you're posting a video a week, that's 52 more videos than you would have had last year.
Yeah.
So it also, you
Yes.
don't have to be like guns blazing, because whatever starts fast ends quick.
Yeah.
Mm.
I love that. So, what are some ways that you're going to change your business in 2024? Are there any specific things that you want to do in order to level up?
Continue to set myself up for success where I can prepare. There's always better ways that I feel like I can prepare.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm doing pretty okay, all things considered, but
Mm-hmm.
utilizing certain tools more, like I know on Instagram, you can schedule your post,
Right.
right? Utilizing those types of tools that are already available to me and try to be proactive in that way
Mm-hmm.
so that I'm able to be a lot more consistent next
Right.
year. So I think that's my
Right.
biggest thing I'm looking to do.
Yeah. I think just doing exactly what you're doing, just with less stress.
Yes, with
Set
a
yourself
lot
up.
less
Yeah.
stress.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think that's for me. I'm just like, how can I do this and not? We talked about getting to the point of burnout every time.
Yes.
Then we're just
Ending
like,
the
and it's a
cycle.
It's
cycle.
inefficient.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
It's
correct.
like, okay, boom, boom, boom. I could stay up until 3, 4, and then
Girl, then the
I
next day,
crash. I can't do nothing.
Streamlining processes.
Yes, that's key.
streamlining processes.
Yeah, if you don't have a system, you don't have you don't have a business.
Yeah.
What about you?
What was the question? Sorry.
So, what are some ways that you are looking to change your business in 2024? Is there anything specific that you want to do to level up?
I am excited to have more models at my home studio. I've really been working on it a lot, and I am someone that grew up with a hoarder parent, so a home has never been something that's in my head been like accessible for other people to share in.
Mm-hmm.
So now that I'm in a happy, healthy, clean home with my partner and I have a studio, I'm wanting to, I don't know, try to expand ways that my content can look like, and ways that I can highlight other people's stories and just talk to them more and really capture that like makeup artist experience that I love so much.
I love that.
Yeah.
For me, I would say to continue to prioritize self care
Yes.
and not just a mask, like
Yeah.
true boundaries, self care, that type of self care. Because I think we spoke about this, if you're creating from a place of burnout, it's like you're not going to like the content. You're going to be annoyed with everything and everyone. And the output is not going to be. So I think the happier we are with our lives, like you said, you happy to be home with your partner, you happy to, the happier we are with our lives, the happier we are going to be to create.
Exactly.
Like I can't create from a place of I'm annoyed, I'm overwhelmed, I'm lacking.
Irritated.
So,
You'd be that irritated before you even press record.
Right. So I'm just like, okay, at least, even if I work on the weekends, Sunday is non-negotiable. That's what I've been trying. That's what I've been trying to
Yes.
establish.
Ah.
I can work on the weekends. Like if it's a big job and it's a shoot or whatever, sure. But in terms of content, you're not counting Sunday or the weekend in general in the time that I'm supposed to give you this thing. If you ask me something on Friday,
Oh, you said business hours only.
because
Yes.
As you
so
should.
so
That's true.
As you
you
should.
They get
clock,
business
you
hours.
clock out and I don't get to clock
Yeah,
out
they send
Right.
you a cue out of office.
As you should.
because I have to wait till Monday for you to respond to this email. So
Well, yeah.
so sometimes, like I said, I am a person, I will make it work. But for the most part, I'll probably do something on a Saturday, but Sunday I try to keep it. That
That's
doesn't
good.
mean it doesn't happen, because
Right.
a lot of times I'm
Stuff
still
happens.
working, I'm still making it
Yeah.
happen. But for the most part, I'm trying to establish those boundaries, because when do we have time for ourselves?
Right.
Not
Unless
not
we make them.
not
Unless
money.
we,
Yeah,
and that's something, yo, I've been like, yo, where's my time? Where, if you do not grab time for yourself,
Yes.
you will never
It'll
just
pass
find
by.
yourself
Yeah.
doing self-care.
yeah,
Never.
no.
Mhm.
And when we were shooting this in November, where did the year go?
Girl.
When did you have time to just do something for
Wait, it's
yourself?
October.
It's October. We're about to be in November.
That's true.
yeah,
That's true.
next week.
Yeah,
Like,
that's so true.
Alyssa said, wait, I
And
didn't
then
even know
it's
that.
December.
So I didn't even know that, girl. Don't stress me out. But no, it's just like the year's gone by. What did you do for yourself?
Mhm.
Besides
Yeah,
do stuff on the weekends for everybody else and not yourself? No.
that's so true.
No. It's giving evolved.
Period. Come on, Cap.
But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I am so happy we got to do this. I mean, it took some planning, but I am so glad to get two full-time creators and have careers available on the same day is a feat. Okay, so I'm so grateful that you guys made the time. Please tell me, Alyssa, how can we find you, support you on all of your socials?
Yes. So all of my socials are always Alyssa J. So that's how you can find me.
Yes, and we'll also put it in the show notes and in the episode. What about you,
On
Karol?
post. You can find me everywhere on at Carol's Corner, Carol with a K, Corner with a C, and that's it.
I love that. Thank you guys so much for listening to the podcast. Don't forget, you can find us on YouTube if you want to see their beautiful faces, okay?
Sure.
And we're all kind of like wearing blue. It's kind of cute. So I think you might
That
want to
is
watch
so
it.
true.
And we are also on TikTok and Instagram. And don't forget, we do have secret episodes for our backstage crew. If you're wondering, what am I even talking about? The link is in the show notes and it's all there for you. So I will check you guys in the next episode. Bye, guys.
Yeah.